Hello, everyone. You are welcome to Anchor Network, where you get reliable and authentic news that are so crucial to you. I say big thank you to everyone who has been part of this channel and who has taken time to subscribe. And if you are yet to subscribe, I say please click the red subscribe button and also the bell icon. The bell icon will allow you to get notified anytime we publish any news. Why Middle Belt relates more now with South than North, says Dogo Isua. National Publicity Secretary, Middle Belt Leaders Forum, Dr. Dogo Isua has given reasons why it appears that the Middle Belt now relates more with the southern region than the core north. In this interview, he said, among others, that it is the Middle Belt that is sustaining the country. The North appears to be pushing for 2023 presidency. Do you think it is fair to the South? He said, my view about zoning, whether in the North, South or any other region, is that it is wrong. Zoning is absolutely wrong. What I mean by this is that when people talk of the North, they are talking about the Fulani and Hausa. If they talk about the South, they are talking about only the Yoruba and Igbo. But what we should be talking about as an enlightened people is to have an egalitarian society. What I mean is that whoever is qualified, even if his tribe has only 2 people, should be given the opportunity to lead. There should be no issue of Igbo, Hausa or Yoruba sentiment, because it appears that it's exactly the game that is playing out in the country. They are certainly not the majority. The only thing is that you have a single tribe that is large, but the other ethnic nationalities put together far exceed the issue of Yoruba, Hausa and Igbo. So let us have an egalitarian society. Anybody qualified from any place, even if his tribe is just a hermit, so be it. So if the North is pushing to retain power in 2023, it will be an unwise decision for any other section of the country to sit down and say, after all, the North has taken it. They are pushing and not that they have taken it. So the West, East, South, South, Middle Belt and anybody who is qualified should push for it. It is not going to be it's not going to be by force. Neither is it a military coup that you would say the military with the barrel of the gun could just go into power. No, it is the ballot box and the decision of Nigerians that would determine the outcome of the election. So it cannot stand the test of time. You cannot say that the North cannot push for 2023. Neither is it that if they do, they must retain it. In the first place, nobody gives us power voluntarily. Power is taken from people through the ballot box, popular revotes and barrel of the gun. But in this case, we want the ballot box. If the ballot box fails, then you go for popular revotes and not bloodshed. So any part of the country can mutually aspire to the presidency. No part should be exempted. And another question was thrown to him, saying, in your view, what are actually the root causes of the dichotomy among the various ethnic nationalities in the country? Why is it the gulf between the north and south not closing up? Trying to ask, why is the gap between the north and south not closing up at all? And he answered, he said, the issues are ethnicity and religion. They are the major problems, and also what you may call political exclusiveness. If you have political inclusiveness, you will not have the dichotomy. It was not like that from former President Olusegun Obasanjo's time, and in fact, even from the time of the military up to the time of former President Goodluck Jonathan's administration, it only started being exactly like this during the time of President Muhammadu Buhari. So the dichotomy is because of political exclusiveness, when almost everything is dominated by a particular section of the country and a particular religion. That is why I earlier talked about religion and ethnicity as the 2 major causes of dichotomy in the country. It is not going to take us anywhere but to what I would describe as the land of political destruction if the system does not change. How do you feel about the level of insecurity in the country today? He said the level of insecurity is alarming and I find it difficult to understand what is happening. We have seen the very people that could have kidnapped hundreds of thousands of people, like what we are seeing in Katsina, being released. These are people who have killed several thousands and they are asking for amnesty. They are asking that those who have committed so much havoc and murder should be released, and you say you are doing amnesty. My goodness. Where does it work that way in the world? So it would only multiply, and the very people who are the killers that the government is trying to pacify and not going to relent, the probability of them relenting is very slim. Then you look at the very particular aspect of televising some of those things. The boys claim that they went for training in Libya for 6 months or 1 year. Look at them. Do they have the ability to go to Libya? The answer is no. So it must be somebody or people sponsoring and sending them there. What the security agencies need to do is to find out from those boys who are the sponsor. They can always lead them to the place. There is no other miracle a person can perform to stop but other than tracing the sponsors. No matter how many chains that are used, you can trace the chain to the sponsors. This is the only way you will succeed in stopping it. This is because if you only concentrate on the miscreants that are actually doing the work, you arrest them and lock them up. Those people are smart. They will simply move and change location and recruit new people. They will brainwash the new people and make them to believe and feel that they can become billionaires overnight. So it will continue. I believe the security architecture of Nigeria have the capacity and capability of stopping the horrible security situation if they are given free hands to do what they are supposed to do. But what the government officials say, their action and approach, I doubt if they are given the free hands to operate. Of late, the Middle Belt seems to be aligning more with South politically than with the core North. What would you attribute that development to, and what do you see as the future of the relationship between the Middle Belt and the South? He said, I don't know what you mean by the core North. To an average Nigerian, the core North constitutes mostly of people from the North, East, and Northwest. He said, by location and geographical expression of the colonial people, they say Middle Belt is in the north, isn't it? By definition, the ethnic nationalities in the Middle Belt are simply Middle Belt. They are neither north as you would have to have a monolithic north, nor they belong to the southwest, east, south, or any other part. We relate to all the sections of the country in equal manner and in a reciprocal approach. If the so-called monolithic north, which does not exist, tries to say the Middle Belt does not exist, they are on their own. The Middle Belt does not need anybody's approval to be Middle Belt. The Middle Belt did not start existing today. I can show you newspapers reports on the Middle Belt for over 30 years. After all, J.F. Tucker was one of them, and I can remember that he was one of those who formed the United Middle Belt Congress. Isn't that an indication that the Middle Belt has existed since time immemorial, just like the Southwest, Southeast, and South-South? We do not need anybody's approval to be what we are, and we will always be what we are. We have stated categorically without mincing words that the Middle Belt is asking or making Nigeria to exist as a country. Without the Middle Belt, there is no Nigeria. We have our identity and we are not afraid or ashamed to be what we are. So if the South recognizes us and give us that respect, whether it is Southwest, Southeast, or South-South, we will reciprocate in the same manner. If any part of the North gives us that kind of respect, we will reciprocate in this same manner, but we are not averse to relating with any part of the country. Those who distance themselves from the Middle Belt do that at their own peril, and we are not bothered whether or not they recognize us because we are not seeking recognition. We are already recognized by Nigeria and by God. Especially, it would appear that we relate more with the Southwest, Southeast, and South because they give us our due respect and recognize us as such, and so we also recognize them. So any other sociocultural group that recognizes us in Nigeria, we will reciprocate in that same manner. So, how do you feel about the recent xenophobic attacks on foreign nationals, especially Nigerians by South African citizens? Are you not worried that today, in the Committee of Nations, Nigerians are treated with so much disrespect? He said, it is a complex international issue because in what happened in South Africa, it was not only Nigerians that were affected. Remember a couple of years ago, Zimbabweans were the most brutally attacked people. That particular time, all members of the African Union would have come out to condemn it, but they left it and kept quiet. Other countries believe that it is not their people and they were not bothered about it. So it has spread to all other countries in Africa that have their people in South Africa. The truth is that it is barbaric, inhuman, and would not help South African in any form. If what they allege that Nigerians are doing is true, there is always the legal aspect of stopping it, and not by extrajudicial killing of people or mobbing action. They have had instances where police kill people, which is extrajudicial. There are instances of mob action which people gather to kill somebody and the police stand by and watch. It is barbaric and condemnable and the highest level possible, but I like the approach that Nigeria has taken by demanding apologies when they have received. They should also take the necessary steps to ensure that miscreants and criminals do not smuggle themselves into any country to perpetrate crime. And if they do, Nigeria should allow for full weight of the law of such country to apply to them. I am not ready to protect somebody who is criminally inclined simply because he's a member of my family. No, it should not be like that. But I think that South Africa needs to work exceptionally hard to stop it because they have descended to the punitive prehistoric level by going about killing people for whatever the differences they may have with such people. So guys, you have heard it all from Dr. Dogo. I would like you guys to continue the conversation and your opinion, from the comment section. But there are two things I just quickly want to talk about. Talking about how we have been so divided and the kind of impunity that is happening now. No, though they must have been happening before now, but it was not as the way it is now. It has been, it has been blown, to a very large scale, in a large scale that people cannot control. This administration has brought about division, about nepotism, and that is what we are talking about, and that is where we are having the problem. That is where the problem creeps in, and that is why it has blown, beyond everyone's imagination. This Buhari administration has divided the country the more. We were divided, but not to this extent. But as soon as he came in, that is just a fact. Unless you want to be economical with the truth, unless you want to be, you don't want to say the truth, that is just what is playing out. A lot of agitations have been underground, but not really, to this level. But as soon as he came with his utterances, with his body language, with the positioning of, positions that are supposed to go round, but he is coming out to say it, and he feels that nobody can do anything, and that is where the problem lies. Of course, the man said a lot of things that we all know about. We have been talking here and there, giving people amnesty and all of that when they are supposed to be dealt with. So what do you expect people to do? They will go back into crime. You are giving them amnesty when they commit crime, but somebody will make a statement, and now you want to hang a lot of things on his neck. So guys, like I said, I would like you guys to continue this discussion from the comment section. Thank you very much for always being there. Bye.